In some places, the story is just too much snow. Here on 19th Avenue North in Fargo, they had to bring in special equipment to remove these king-size drifts. Street crews are working hard to clear the roads of snow, but it's a big job. And we mean big.
By the time this is all said and done, we could see between 16 and 24 inches of snow from the storm system.
So much snow falls in January that some structures can't take it. The roof of Fargo's Conlon's furniture store collapses.
Our concern was an explosion due to the compromising of natural gas lines.
And near Jamestown, a barn roof caves in.
And just like that, it started crashing, and here it comes.
Roads fill with more snow. They're closed for days. Plows have a tough time breaking through deep and long drifts. Homeowners work night and day digging out. January 10th, the snow keeps piling up. Fargo road crews and private plow operators work overtime trying to keep up.
A lot of this snow that we're pushing right now is just falling right back down on the street. It takes a lot of rounds to get it off the street.
And near Bismarck, a couple is stranded in their car in frigid temperatures.
The search plan for David Boone and Tammy Thyssen was mapped out by the Burleigh County Sheriff's Office at 9:45 a.m.
The snowcats made it nice. They just went over the drifts for us, so we didn't have to worry about getting stuck. They could move into the ditch and pretty much go into where they wanted to go.
The perimeter of the search area ran 5 miles east and 15 miles north of Bismarck. The rescue team was out for an hour when the sheriff's office received a tip from someone who had heard a live radio report. 45 minutes later, the couple's truck was found at 106th Street, just north of 84th Avenue. The vehicle had stalled out at 3:30 a.m. yesterday morning and was sitting in the middle of the road.
We knew we had the right vehicle, and then when we opened it up and they did respond to us, it's just relief that they have been found. They had been out there without any heat since about 3:30 in the morning, from what they've told us. So it's been a long night for them.
How you doing? How are you? I'm okay. Okay.
Both Tammy Thyssen and David Boone were found inside the pickup in good condition. They had weathered wind chills of 80 degrees below zero for 36 hours.
We just bundled up in all the warm clothes and sleeping bags that we had and just waited and prayed.
And in South Dakota, a woman is stranded alone in her car. Her cell phone, the only contact with the outside world.
Hello. Hi. Oh, I've been popular, I guess.
Calls from worried friends and family are flooding into Karen Nelson's hospital room. She's warm and safe after taking a wrong turn and ending up in a slough during the raging blizzard. She spent 2 days stranded outside in the bitter cold.
Oh, I think I was feeling sorry for myself. I just think I was feeling sorry for myself because I should have never done that in the first place.
She headed out for home. The weather got bad. She got disorientated and turned the wrong way. And about 7:30 in the morning, she called me and told me she was stuck. So I called the sheriff's office.
Rescue workers immediately tried to find Karen, even calling in the plows to clear impassable roads. But Karen didn't know where she was. To make matters worse, she ran out of gas only 8 hours into the ordeal.
When my cell phone went out and my battery in my car went dead, then I knew I was all by myself.
After a long search, an F-16 flying overhead pinpointed her location and directed snowmobilers to the stranded vehicle. Doctors are amazed at her condition.
For being, quote, 2 days out in those sort of conditions, her total condition was unbelievable.
Hello.
November 13th, the National Guard responds to North Dakota's snow emergency by loaning equipment and soldiers.
Fuel oil supplies are low throughout the state because distribution points were cut off from supplies for 4 days.
And in south-central North Dakota, a huge amount of snow cuts off an entire town.
By the looks of it, there is no way in and no way out of Selfridge, North Dakota. Both roads leading into the town in southern Sioux County are blocked by snow. Sioux County plow drivers made their own road through a pasture. And this 3-mile trail through a stubble field is the only way one farmer west of Selfridge can get to town. To put it simply, rural Selfridge residents, along with others in Sioux County, are still snowed in, and they might be for a while longer.
It might be another 4 or 5 days. And that's without barring any
weather coming in.
The snow has been especially hard on livestock producers. Freilich says over 150 head of cattle have died, and others are going hungry.
There are some farmers and ranchers, there's many of them, that can't get to their feed supply.
January 16th, the National Guard brings in big blowers to widen highways. Hard-packed snow makes it rough going, and we're starting to get an idea of just how much snow we're dealing with.
Impressive? Indeed, but not surprising. Fargo street crews battled a blown-in 19th Avenue North. An enormous machine sent snow sky high, then showering onto a nearby field. A tiresome chore, now becoming a weekly ritual.
It's taking longer every storm to open it up because we're catching more snow in there. The banks are a little higher. So it's what we used to do in about 3.5 hours is taking us 5 to 6 hours now to clean it up.
Cass County faced its share of problems, too. Drifts 6 to 12 feet high buried homes, stranded motorists, and covered roads in open areas.
Here on Cass County Road 34 north of Argusville, the road just disappears, lost in a sea of snow. It just goes to show you, while the weather may not seem that bad looking out your window in the city, out here in the rural areas, a blizzard can be raging.
We really hadn't had a chance from the last storm to get things pushed back the way we'd like to, so we had a lot of these canyons, if you will, around the county, and those just filled in real quick yesterday, and now they're just rock hard, so it's taken some time to get those opened up.
After 23 years in the job, Vern Olmsted still can't believe what snow and some strong wind can do.
Well, run into them, back up, run into them, back up, run into them until you get them open.
It's a lot of work, that's for sure.
There's a lot of stress throughout the shop. You can tell it by the voices and the people. So they've had enough.
Okay, you ready for spring?
Yes, definitely.
Chances are, Vern's not alone.
January 20th, another structure buckles under heavy snow. The roof of Valley City's Winter Show building collapses.
And all of a sudden, I hear this creaking and cracking, and the ceiling's starting to come at me. I said, the building's falling in.
In South Dakota's Sioux County, near Morristown, a farm family has been stranded for nearly 2 weeks. Plows finally clear the road to Dan and Gloria Maher's home.
I got on the snowmobile once in a while, but my wife and most of the rest of the family members were in for at least 12 days.
12 days was long enough?
Yeah, it sure was. It's going to be fun to go someplace today.
The bad winter weather becomes a kind of repetitive nightmare. It's deflating spirits.
Who said I'm coping?
Getting tired of it.
It isn't easy. You think you're done with it, and then the next day you'll go again.
And the weather takes a physical toll.
Folks in Crookston and across the Northern Valley rolled out of bed once again this morning to what has become the blizzard of the week.
And they're creating whiteout conditions at times. There's no school in Crookston today. Classes canceled here. Roads closed. They have closed Highway 2, according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office.
This exhausted traveler made it from Grand Forks to the Crookston Super Pumper Station early this morning before retiring in a booth.
He came from Grand Forks last night and took him 3.5 hours.
Okay, what time was that?
He got here about 4:30, and this guy that's sitting at the table over there works at American Woods in Grand Forks, and he got off and he headed out, and they closed it while he was on it.
So we're to the point now, if the wind's blowing, we don't go out and do anything at all because the banks are so high, and you're just defeating our purpose. The bad news is that things will get worse before it gets better.
With all the extra expense of moving snow and all the extra expense of overtime for law enforcement, some believe that Governor Carlson's $20 million worth of emergency aid will not go very far.
The way it's looking right now, no, that's not going to be enough to pick up the difference between the federal money and the local money. I don't think that $20 million, if it keeps up much longer like this, is going to have much effect on the cost to the government agencies.
We set a record and then some. The winter of 1996-97 will be remembered as the season the most snow fell on the valley.
To give you some perspective, That's how much snow we get in an average season, 39 inches. But now, add 67 inches to that, and that puts us up here, over 100 inches, and it's still coming down.
Well, I just paid off my landlord, driving my car down I-94. You see, I'm leaving North Dakota. That much is for sure. But now don't take me wrong, 'cause it's a real right state. But see, a lot of famous people did not hesitate to jump in their car, drive down I-94. Ooh, yeah, all the best thing out of North Dakota is still I-94.
Got an 89-year-old woman that needs to get out over there. I'm going to send the boys out there.
Next, the record amount of snow melts
Just do it till they're all gone, I guess.
and spreads itself all over the Red River Valley.
But there's still people there.
You've been waiting for a sedan that's both practical and fun to drive. Oldsmobile thinks you've waited long enough. Rydell's in Grand Forks invites you to experience Intrigue by Oldsmobile, the perfect combination of sport and luxury. Once you've discovered the smooth, quiet ride and unmatched safety features of Intrigue, you won't settle for anything less. The all-new Intrigue, best priced at Rydell Chevrolet Oldsmobile Cadillac, 2700 South Washington, Grand Forks.
For that hometown feeling, come to Breckenridge, Minnesota. Located at the head of the Red River, Breckenridge is an excellent place to live. Take a dip in the outdoor swimming pool, walk through beautiful flower gardens, and enjoy the challenge of the unique 18-hole golf course with 9 holes in Minnesota and 9 holes in North Dakota. Plus, Breckenridge also offers complete medical and hospital facilities, an exceptional school system, and fine dining establishments. That hometown feeling is waiting for you in Breckenridge, Minnesota.
Life is uncertain. It brings us many joys and sorrows. Because we never know what tomorrow will bring, it's important to know professionals you can trust. When the need is greatest, many area families have turned to Corsmo Funeral Service. At Corsmo, caring people earn your trust by taking the time to answer your questions and meet your needs. Corsmo, serving when the need is greatest.
Coco, where are you?
It's no fun when someone you love can't be found. Quasel Collectibles can help when something like that happens.
No.
Quasel Collectibles have that charm, grace, and warm glow, even for search parties.
Not under here.
These heirlooms will be around to help you search for generations to come.
Gotta be here somewhere.
These authentic reproductions are handcrafted and look great in any room in your home.
I found him! I found him!
Available at the Lighthouse, Bismarck, Fargo, and Grand Forks.
Much of the water that flows to and through the Red River flows north. So the first indication of what would soon hit the Red River Valley came from towns to the south.
Teresa Grimes needs rubber boots to get home these days.
See, we've never had it on this side of our house. Over here either.
To say there's a lot of water is an understatement.
It came up yesterday afternoon, and about 9 o'clock last night we decided to pull the sump pumps out because we weren't keeping up with it. And then by an hour and a half later, it was full.
So full, her family was forced out.
It's a good thing they put the freezer up in blocks. And it's never been in our garage like this. Never.
Residents here in Dumont are seeing water in places they've never seen before, like here in St. John Cemetery. And it's all because of one little creek. 12 Mile Creek runs alongside the tiny town of Dumont. It's running faster and spreading farther than most folks want to believe, filling fields, flooding roads, and racing to nearby homes.
In my yard here, I'd put in a dike in '89, which on your average year would have been adequate, but that quickly became inadequate.
And by the looks of this...
yeah, I don't know how deep it gets out in there.
It could be a long night for Teresa Grimes and the rest of Dumont.
March 20th, workers began moving dirt in Harwood. It's the start of an extensive ring dike to protect the city from flooding. Harwood has to fight two rivers, the Red to the east and the Cheyenne to the west. That means it could become an island when the water levels peak.
When the water gets that high, the roads are going to be underwater. I don't know if they can do it. We can't wait till the weekend and get everybody out. We need them out today, through the weekend.
April 3rd, an urgent call for volunteers goes out. The Red River in Fargo is now slightly over flood stage and out of its banks in many areas. City flood managers focus on guarding against possible overland flooding. Some people in Milner, North Dakota have a rough night. Floodwater comes cross-country without warning. A mobile home park on the northwest edge of town is hit the hardest. A steadily rising Goose River shifts sandbagging into high gear in Mayville and Hillsboro. The Goose rises another 2 feet overnight.
How's it going so far? Yeah, I just left his house here, so he says he needs help here.
The only way to get around streets on the south end of Minto is with a boat or four-wheel drive tractor. The water is 5 feet deep in places here, but luckily folks had a head start on the water. They planned on the deluge. Most had their homes sandbagged before the water hit last night.
And Forest River's gone down a foot already. So in 12 hours' time, last night it was still going up, and this morning it's going down, and is down a foot lower. So if we have 12 hours before the snow comes, we should be in good shape.
Near Foxhome, Minnesota, several inches of water spew over a large section of the road. Overland flooding packs quite a current, flowing fast into ditches.
We still have a lot of work to do.
The ongoing flood fight in and around Devil's Lake gets a morale boost from a top-ranking government official. Newly appointed Secretary of Transportation Rodney Slater tours the area during a whirlwind state visit.
We're going to be a good partner, and we're going to do everything we can. And as one of the individuals said on board, though, it's been a local, state, federal partnership.
As Dan Ackery wades through what used to be his driveway, he can't help but wonder if the floodwaters will ever go down.
I'd love to believe the water disappear in a matter of a couple days, but with the forecast now, I'm sure that we'll have some high water for a little while. Hope that we're sandbag high enough, hope that it holds, just go day by day.
Ackery lives just south of Sabin and just a few feet from the Buffalo River. He started sandbagging early in anticipation of record flooding, so his house is staying dry. But Ackery's neighbors aren't so lucky.
Dan, you stay down?
So far, it's not.
I just gone. The basement went in last night.
Carol Danielson hasn't been able to get to her house for 2 days, and when she can, she'll need a boat to get across the flooded roads.
It always goes over the road, usually every spring. And never, this field isn't anything like that. I mean, that's a lot of water out there.
I haven't had a chance to drive around at all, but I know that there's water absolutely everywhere, and we had people come out of woodwork to help, and yeah, just pitch in and help.
There's 2 posts here I have ice cream buckets on. And when the first bucket goes, I'm really quite concerned when that one goes. But when the second one goes, that's our evacuation point. We're out of here.
On April 5th, Breckenridge, Minnesota declares a state of emergency to keep sightseers away from the river. The red rises above the record level set in 1989 to 17.7. Evacuations begin. It's followed by the most powerful ice storm in recent memory.
Heavy rains have created hazardous travel conditions throughout the region, and the worst of the storm hasn't even come yet. Good evening. Thousands of people are without power tonight as ice, snow, and strong winds are sweeping across our region.
The driving rain is freezing fast to the trees, and it's too heavy for them to hold. Not to mention the numerous streets that are filled up with water, which has nowhere to go. Tree limbs, both large and small, are snapping like toothpicks under the weight of the ice. Unfortunately, they're downing power lines, too.
We've been hearing cracks from my tree all night long, and lost 2 of the branches already, big ones.
And the National Guard is dispatched to Dilworth.
It's been kind of crazy driving around here. It's been total whiteout sometimes. We had to almost stop. We got stuck once. The city loader had to pull us out, and the city employees said that they've never seen anything like it before.
okay? I'm not sure.
With floodwater surrounding his home, Clarence Ness was one of more than 300 Breckenridge residents to evacuate. The National Guard helped Clarence and others to leave. Most still had power, but Clarence felt better safe than sorry.
Somebody said the river was going to come up some more. Well, then I can't stand anymore.
The raging Red River, with the help of a ferocious weekend winter storm, has soared over its banks and dikes, turning some Breckenridge city streets into icy streams. Only National Guard vehicles were allowed in some areas. Travel was treacherous in what looks like a frozen wasteland, but some have decided to hunker down and stick it out.
Last night we just made a decision to stay. We had heat and we had electricity, so we just decided to stay.
Others decided to head out on their own.
They don't want dogs or nothing in, you know, the shelters or anything, and they didn't want to give us a ride even with them, so we're taking them out. We ain't leaving them behind.
Sandbags were of little help. Pumps were working hard to keep water out of homes.
I'm keeping ahead of the game right now, so hopefully something good going to happen. It's about time something good happens around here for us.
It's just too stressful. It's just too costly. It's just hard to endure, you know, not only physically but mentally too. It's a very stressful situation.
And in Ada, Minnesota, it's even worse. Water from the Wild Rice and Marsh rivers is forcing people from their homes.
How bad is it and what do you got left to do?
What's left to do, I suppose each truck is probably from now moved about 100 people per truck or more. And we've been running since about 1 o'clock this morning is when we got here. We're just going to keep moving people until we're told otherwise, but there's still people there. We were at a couple parts of town where the water came damn near up to the tailgate. And then, of course, it's real difficult to get people out because the water goes over top of the fuel tanks. And if that happens, then we're all dead in the water.
Of course, phones are out, so a lot of people haven't been able to notify the Guard that they need to be evacuated.
Got an 89-year-old woman that needs to get out over there. I'm going to send the boys after her. The elderly, it's been kind of difficult because they require special attention.
There's 101.
Our house started filling up night before last, and we were able to keep up for a while, but yesterday it started coming in too fast, so we left and came to my husband's uncle's, and their basement's at chest level now, so we had to leave.
I don't know. That turns out to be a false alarm.
We're mired down here, stuck. We're going to have this other guard truck try to give us a pull and get out of here. And
it doesn't work. We finally need a big tractor.
I haven't seen it drop at all, but the ice that used to be in big sheets is now broken up with all the traffic.
So what's going to happen to these people?
I think most of them are getting evacuated to either Halstead or down to Twin Valley.
Okay, here we go. We'll just do it till they're all gone, I guess.
Lots of water, lots of ice in the streets. When it gets back to normal, I don't know. It's going to be a while.
To the south, rising floodwaters force some Fargo-Moorhead families to leave their homes.
It seems a little bit more personal when it gets up to your main level, so that's been a little hard to deal with.
I suppose by the time we're done with the lawn and the indoor stuff, it'll be time to snow again.
And President Clinton signs a federal disaster declaration for North Dakota.
We've been dodged a couple bullets, especially as far as the ice is concerned. We maintained power and so forth. So what's happened today and what's happened this weekend is we lost about 48 hours in flood preparation, and we're feverishly trying to speed that up. Well, as you can see in the background, some people call it an anthill. I've never seen so much activity go so quickly.
Thousands of electric customers in eastern North Dakota and western Minnesota suffer through a third day without heat. The weekend storm had knocked out power in spots all over the region. Nearly 1,000 power poles up and down the valley snapped under thick ice and high winds.
And the wires are underneath the water and the ice, and just to get that out, it's going to take a long time.
This is the problem. From Crookston to the Canadian border, snapped-off power poles litter the landscape like broken matchsticks. Several power companies are facing the same problem, mile after mile of downed lines. But it could be quite a wait for the 3,700 now powerless customers. served by PKM Electric in northwestern Minnesota.
Yeah, we're looking at 2 to 3 days on the eastern part of the system and probably 5 to 7 days on the western part of the system.
In Argyle, Minnesota, there is no power. The gas stove at Will's Cafe has made this the town's only warm spot, as a small generator provides a bit of light. Some 30 people spent the night here.
I take it it's pretty cold at your house.
Oh, yes, it was. About 37 yesterday. So we couldn't tough it out anymore.
The fire department came and picked you up?
The firemen, yeah, they came and pick up, and they come and got us.
You've got people out delivering meals, too, to others that can't get out?
Yep, the fire department has been taking them, and then they can't get through. They've been taking them on snowcats.
Have you run out of food in the restaurant?
Yeah, we're starting to run out. We're going over to the Farmer Dell and getting the food that's going to go to spoil there, and then using that up, too.
Okay, so you're cleaning out the grocery store, too?
Yep, kind of doing a little everything right at the moment.
April 8th, flooding along the Bois de Sioux River surrounds Steve and Brenda Erickson's home. Authorities have to move quickly to get them to dry land.
An Air National Guard helicopter was flown in from St. Paul for the heroic rescue along the rapidly rising river. The couple had been in their home since a vicious winter storm struck last Friday. They had power, but no telephone. A National Guard unit patrolling the river area this morning spotted the Ericksons in trouble. A sight for sore eyes.
We started packing right away. We were ready to move. I figured they'd help. I was counting on them, put it that way.
Well, I couldn't believe I saw a couple Humvees coming down the road, but I figured a tractor would do it, but this worked pretty good, too.
The Ericksons aren't alone. Others have been holed up in their homes along the Bois de Sioux, thanks to this ice jam. It's forced water to spill well over its banks. Neighbors were ready to help. Vance Wurtsema and his tractor were standing by to get those stranded.
They figured the water was about 4 or 5 feet deep, so in that case, the tractor would go through there pretty easy, and it weighs 32,000 pounds, so we figured that would have been safe.
We'd been joking about we were going to have to call the National Guard, but we had no phone, so we couldn't, you know. We were planning to leave today. We were going to walk out if we had to, but it was an adventure.
An adventure Steve and Brenda Erickson won't forget. Never have they been more pleased to be away from home.
Welcome, Mr. Vice President.
How are you?
Good. Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much. You all have really been through it here.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming.
Vice President Al Gore came calling on a record-breaking day. The Red River at Fargo this morning reached its highest level in 100 years. From atop an emergency dike that will protect downtown Fargo from a record crest, Gore saw the water that has forced entire communities from their homes and threatens to damage others. This flood of the century, he says, has captured the attention of an entire nation.
We're going to do everything we can as Americans all to make sure you get back on your feet and fully recovered as quickly as possible.
Gore applauded the efforts of flood fighters up and down the valley who saw the high water coming and got as ready as they could.
They've been bragging on you, Dennis.
That doesn't happen all the time.
Absolute stuff. Good for you.
Thank you very much.
The man leading the Fargo charge says Gore's visit is important to flood victims.
I think it really reassures, or should reassure everybody that's in the recovery process that there's going to be a little bit of help out there to deal with some of the problems. God bless y'all, and best of luck. I know there's some hard days ahead.
The Red River doesn't rush through Fargo, it overwhelms it. North Dakota's largest city is surrounded by ice-filled water now 21 feet above flood stage, but still unable to penetrate Fargo's elaborate defenses.
I found where the water was coming in, and I got some pumps in there.
There are individual stories of desperation. Larry Sherling is fighting a losing battle to bail a house already 3 feet underwater. The road in is blocked. All his supplies are getting in by boat.
I think we got it pretty well beat.
And today, Fargo has survived the highest crest on the Red River in 100 years, with a system of dikes and sandbag levees that ring the city.
The hose freeze on here, or did it just shut down?
Rick Lane has been up 3 days straight. He admits to only a few naps. He and other Fargo City engineers patrol the dikes 24 hours a day, looking for weak spots caused by frozen sandbags.
This year when we started our sandbagging, we were working on frozen ground and snow in some places. And what that creates is when you have frozen ground, when it begins to thaw, it allows water through.
Some amazing feats of backyard engineering are being put to the test today. This wall is over 10 feet tall. It was built with over 20,000 sandbags. It's the only defense, the only hope against the Red River, which is more than 10 feet deep on the other side of the dike. Steve George and his neighbors have been pumping for 72 hours straight.
I'm overwhelmed, yeah. It's hard not to cry.
The Red River is at his back door, but not inside yet. And like most of Fargo, George is feeling pretty good about the battle this city has fought, arm in arm.
Right now I'm valuing my friendships more than I'm valuing my property.
Since the record snows of winter, Fargo has known this day would come and worked to prevent disaster. Tonight, they're hoping their work will hold back the still surging Red River.
Near Argusville, North Dakota, a Coast Guard crew attempts to rescue a couple from their waterlogged farmstead.
Man, that barn is up to the roof. That's deep water there. Yep. Well, they're right on the river. They'd be smart to be moving out. There's a is that someone on the porch there? There's out at the front. We got to see if that's them.
6535, this is EOC. Be advised you are at the right place at the present time.
All right, EOC, roger that. We'll be assessing the situation, looking at an evacuation route.
They'll be using the hoist here momentarily now. They'll lift them up.
They'll lower a basket to the house, and they'll lift them up one at a time, and they'll bring them over here to the road. Folks are saying, hey, my dike work's not going to hold up, any longer, and they're saying it's time to go, unfortunately.
Wayne doesn't want to go out, huh?
Right.
Not yet. He says he has 6 to 8 inches more that he can take on, and he wants to, I don't blame him. He's got cows, too.
The water is up, so it will be coming into the house. It is on our porch. It's just up over the top, so it'll be coming into the porch and then into the house.
Come on, Charlie. Come on. Floodwaters have submerged much of Heritage Hills development south of Fargo.
People here have double trouble because this is where the Wild Rice and the Red River meet.
Well, if you like boating, this is a new challenge. Kind of fun.
Many people here have been through this before, but with boats being the mainstream, the rules of the road have changed. Drivers have to watch out for a whole new set of obstacles, like nearly hidden mailboxes.
I almost hit one, and the boat almost tipped over, and that's how I learned to stay on the road.
Tuesday, April 15th, the Red River in Fargo could rise to between 38.7 and 39 feet by early Thursday. Fargo officials say the volume of water and the length of time it stayed high is unprecedented.
We're seeing some things that none of us have ever seen before.
Flood fighters race to downtown Fargo when Army Corps workers spot a leak at the 2nd Street dike. Standby construction crews are sent to an area a block east of City Hall to shore up an earthen dike.
Then the pressure will equalize, and it'll just build a little pool there, and that should be okay.
And the city builds an earthen dike along Woodland Drive in North Fargo. It may cut off homeowners if it appears the water may breach the backyard dikes. That means homes on the riverside would no longer be protected.
This water from the Wild Rice River, instead of going over to the Red River, which it should have been doing, started going west over I-29 at the Horace interchange and then pushed north across 52nd Avenue, and that's why these homes in the Fox Run and Timberline additions were in jeopardy. There you can see an impressive line of sandbaggers trying to protect these areas. But Rose Creek, Oak Creek, and Meadow Creek are also in jeopardy at this hour. They were also doing some work on Dike West, which of course protects the Island Park area. And what you're seeing here is the folks shoring up a sandbag dike. They're trying to build it up about 1 or 2 more feet on top of the existing dike to protect that Island Park area. And that's, of course, with all of the revisions going with this river, still keeps going on up.
Good afternoon. A series of leaks in a Grand Forks dike forced an emergency evacuation of hundreds of residents early this afternoon.
What did they tell you? Just get out.
Hundreds of Lincoln Park residents were told they had to evacuate immediately. They took what they could and headed to higher ground.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is the second evacuation in 2 weeks.
The evacuation was prompted by a series of 9 small separate leaks in the dike surrounding the Lincoln Park neighborhood.
I'm still encouraging people to voluntarily leave their homes if they are behind sandbag or clay dikes.
It makes me very nervous that we have to leave. I just wonder what we'll come back to.
And when we can come back.
Yeah.
The light of day did not alleviate any worries. Many homes on the far south end of Grand Forks are surrounded by water, as you see in these aerial shots. Water is also running into some areas that have already been evacuated. And downtown, the dikes are still holding back the red, but the water is running right over the top of the Sorley Bridge here downtown. And north of downtown, the river continues to cause problems in the Riverside Park area.
There was no stopping it. The Red River charged its way into Grand Forks at water levels never seen before. Man-made barriers were no protection at all. Dikes, flood walls, levees, all designed to contain the power of a river on the rise, became rushing waterfalls on the Red.
Lives were in danger, so we mandatorily evacuated some areas.
For 3,000 Grand Forks residents in 4 neighborhoods under the dike, it was a chilling middle-of-the-night call. Pack up and leave, no questions asked. The Army Corps of Engineers abandoned dikes crumbling beneath their machinery, vowing that retreat was not surrender.
We're going to battle this until the very end.
It's difficult for the people here to fight both elements at the same time, the cold, the ice, and that high water.
And in North Fargo, the unthinkable happens.
In a matter of minutes, the Fargo neighborhood was overcome by water.
Thousands and thousands of cubic feet of water rushing out.
When the dike broke, the river came spilling down one city street and wrapped around to another. The Oak Grove Lutheran High School was in the middle of it all.
We had done everything we could only to see it go, but that's what happens with a flood like this.
When the water came, students from the Oak Grove dorms ran to help.
And it just started to pour over, and we did as much as we could with the sandbags, but it seemed like there was no use for it.
Residents watched helplessly as water climbed toward their homes. Attempts to stop it were futile. Others got out with what they could, driving vehicles through water at least a foot deep.
So at first it was just at the corner over there on South Terrace. It was just like by Oak Grove, and then I left and came back, and within 5 minutes it was a lot deeper, a lot farther down the road.
Sandbaggers worked frantically to save individual homes.
It's frustrating.
Jackie McFarland and her husband have been fighting the water for weeks. Tonight they are losing, but are not leaving.
How long are you going to stay and fight it out before you guys leave? Until they come and get me, tell me I have to go. Till the end.
We realize that our efforts were not completely successful.
Coming up, Fargo's mayor announces a controversial flood-fighting plan. And devastation beyond belief in Grand Forks when the 97 flood from ruin to recovery continues.
Jerry Mathers, formerly known as the Beaver, for Jenny Craig.
I don't mind being remembered like this, but I didn't want to be remembered like this. When the tabloids called me the portly Mr. Mathers, it was time to call Jenny Craig. With their one-on-one support, I lost 35 pounds. Now I feel great, and I never have to hear the word portly again.
Our New Year's special. Join our complete program at $398 value for $148 plus the cost of food. In Grand Forks, call 746-9608.
Look at this fine wedding portraiture. You'll see style, fun, friendliness, photographic excellence. Get the best. Go with Alan Ross Photography. We offer you 6 low-price package selections and are always backing our slogan, an artistic product at the lowest possible price. Plus, get special discounts for January, February, and March weddings. Your satisfaction is our goal at Alan Ross Photography. 28 years satisfying customers. Call 282-6966.
We've been telling you a lot about National Muffler lately, our commitment to you, our customers, and now we would like to show you what makes National Muffler your complete undercar specialist. Our ASC certified mechanics do shocks, struts, brakes, complete rear end, and front wheel drive work, fast lube oil changes, trailer hitches, and still the best values on mufflers. We've worked hard for over 20 years to earn your trust. See how hard we'll work to keep it at National Muffler.
UND is a great place to go to school.
I love the faculty on campus here. They've always been really accessible and really easy to work with. It's still a reasonable cost, and the education you're getting is just extraordinary. And I think both the university and the city have a lot to offer. You're going to find yourself right at home here.
Not only did Grand Forks residents have to fight rising floodwaters, but they would soon be faced with overwhelming odds no one ever expected.
As the evacuation was near completed, the water began to come through.
At midday, water was running about 2 feet deep through the Lincoln, Riverside, and Central Park neighborhoods. National Guard troops blocked access to anyone other than homeowners and emergency workers.
How deep's this water here on Lincoln?
Jim Thompson caught a ride to check on his place.
If you're ordered to leave your home, either by the National Guard, whether it's ordered through the governor or whatever, you have to. I mean, it's for safety reasons.
Thompson's family was one of more than 800 who had been evacuated from their Grand Forks homes. One of the media escorts found out he was another. Along Euclid Avenue, homeowners were getting ready to go, and many who had already lost their homes helped stage yet another battle against the red. Cheryl Holmberg left in the middle of the night. What did you prepare to take out?
Some clothes and two items, the dog.
Homeowners who had to evacuate don't know what they'll go home to or when, but the scenery suggests they should brace themselves for bad news.
We have to stay out until they let us come back in.
We've had a strategy of containment, trying to keep the water back, that is no longer working. And that water is going to go where water wants to go, and ultimately it wants to go to the red.
In Fargo, Mayor Bruce Furness announces a controversial new flood-fighting plan that may leave some South Fargo homeowners fending for themselves. The city will build a contingency dike through South Fargo to protect it from significant overland flooding. But the dike will cut right through several brand-new neighborhoods already underwater.
Very frustrating. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. You know, I'm totally helpless.
Don and Karen Zotes are giving into the floodwaters that plague their South Fargo neighborhood. They're moving out of the home they just moved into in February, but it may be none too soon since the city's new diking plan will sacrifice their neighborhood. Still, it's a bitter loss.
I figured I had to come up this weekend. The water was on its way, but we didn't make it in time. It's a goner.
We fully understand the ramifications of such a decision and the concern and consternation that's going to cause to those people south of that dike.
The planned levee puts 300 homes in jeopardy. Many are already nearly submerged. City leaders asked homeowners in the affected areas to raise their dikes an extra 2 feet, but there's concern the sandbags won't hold back that much water.
Saturday, April 19th. People expected it to get rough. No one thought it would get this bad. Firefighters evacuate people from burning buildings in downtown Grand Forks. The fire breaks out in one building and then spreads itself to others next door. Planes have to battle the blazes from the air. Streets are too flooded for the trucks to get through. Grand Forks Mayor Pat Owen says the city's infrastructure will likely be out of commission for at least 2 weeks. The lack of basic services makes it dangerous for anyone to stay in town. Nearly 50,000 people are homeless.
At daybreak, the flames were still raging as fire gutted the heart of downtown Grand Forks. National Guard troops pulled people from nearby apartment buildings as the flames consumed historic landmarks.
We decided to stay in our homes. We were third floor. We were safe. We had food. We had lights. We could watch emergency broadcasts all evening. We were on the roof. We were watching people that were trying to get out. We watched the National Guard pull out once they gave up on the dike. We saw saw people leaving their homes, and we saw things get covered, trying to save their businesses and stuff. It didn't help.
A helicopter was on the scene again today. It made run after run, dipping down to fill its water bucket from one disaster to stop another.
If you know the security building, and you know the Herald building behind the original Herald office, everything between the two buildings, that entire block would be, I'd consider to be destroyed. The other block that sustained heavy damage was the First National Bank block with Bonzers next door there and a couple other businesses. Names escape me right now. And then First Financial Center across the street from First National sustained heavy damage.
So we're talking about damage on 3 different blocks here, right?
Right, damage on 3 different blocks. Yeah, we don't believe we'll lose any further buildings than we've already lost.
And while the city struggles with fire, a U.S. West employee called the situation at its Grand Forks communication headquarters critical. Floodwaters were threatening the telephone system.
My own home is going under. It may not be total, but now I am in the same bucket with the rest of you. I do not feel bad for one reason, because we will rebuild, and we do have faith. And I believe in our people, and I believe together we will all pull out of this, and our city will be stronger. One of the things I do want to do is, from my heart, thank all the area residents for the way they have responded when we made the call.
That call was to house tens of thousands of people who have been left homeless by this monumental disaster.
Life is coming to a standstill in Grand Forks. Floodwater swallowed up dozens more city blocks today as the raging Red River continues its assault on the city. These history-making river levels are choking off the systems that keep the city running and endangering basic services, power, sewers, water.
The city's water plant has been inundated, leaving the city without fresh water for residents. The plant could be down as long as 2 weeks. Powered sources could also be in jeopardy. Lack of services is going to make life difficult and perhaps dangerous for residents throughout the city, even those who are not inundated with water.
Residents are feeling the city shut down just about everywhere they turn, at home.
I have water, but I haven't used it. Tried not to use the toilet and tried to get all my furniture up a couple inches.
At school,
it's very difficult to operate an organization with a combined population of close to 15,000 or over 15,000 people when you have problematic water and sewage and things like that. I mean, we simply can't function as an institution. We can't produce steam. We can't provide water for laboratories. We can't provide water for food.
And even as a citywide evacuation forces them out of town.
And we're getting close to being out of everything, like the water's shut off because, you know, the been contaminated. We're just running low on gas. We don't want to bring it in right now if we can get it here. We're just running out of everything.
The flood of the century has forced most Grand Forks businesses to close. You can't get to a lot of them. And city officials say they won't provide any holdouts with supplies. A few shopkeepers still open on the west edge of town are winding down, running out of steam in this community-wide race against the red.
Still to come, the valley's flood victims recover.
Feeling a lot better than we felt yesterday.
And we'll be there with you every step of the way. Thank you, and God bless you.
Sinclair Optical of Fargo, professionals you've come to know and trust.
Hi, my name is Doug Stavanger. I've been with Sinclair Optical 23 years.
And I'm Mike Gravelin. I've been with Sinclair Optical for 16 years.
At Sinclair Optical, you'll always find just the right glasses with just the right fit. And they do eyeglass repair on site. Remember, when you have your eyeglass prescription in hand, you have a choice. Sinclair Optical, South University Drive, and in the professional building Fargo. And Sinclair Optical on Highway 10 between Moorhead and Dilworth.
It's the way a house smells when there's bread baking in the oven. The way mothers make sandwiches just right. It's the way we try to know each of our customers by name or at least by Sandwich. And it's the way all your favorite things combine into something even better, right before your eyes. It's probably why people rate us #1 in quality, survey after survey, even though it can be hard to answer questions with your mouth full. Subway. It's the way a sandwich should be.
At Don's Sportland in Breckenridge, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a lot of fun. Right now, it's an Arctic blast at Don's Sportland. Come on in and take advantage of the best deals on your favorite Arctic cat. And don't forget, Don's carries a huge selection of used sleds at great prices. Check out the cool Arctic cat clothing at Don's, too, in many styles and sizes. Don't let this winter pass you by. Grab onto some fun at Don's Sportland, Highway 75 in Breckenridge.
Have you looked at our bank statement? There's another $24 charge for check blank.
And you realize we're still only getting 2% on our savings? I think it's time we change banks.
When you switch your checking and savings to State Bank of Fargo, Moorhead, or West Fargo, you'll get free checking. Every order of standard check blanks free, a free check card, and higher interest on your savings.
We'll never pay for check blanks again.
Only at State Bank of Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo, your locally owned neighborhood banks.
Monday, April 21st. There's a lot of work to go, but people in the Southern Valley are becoming optimistic about the floodplain. The river has receded, and the level of the water traveling overland south of Fargo drops some.
Feeling a lot better than we felt yesterday, and it seems like there's a lot of optimism around our community here and compared to 2 days ago, and so we'll see what happens.
And the Northern Valley gets a visit from the consoler-in-chief.
Water cannot wash that away, and fire cannot burn that away, and a blizzard cannot freeze that away. And if you don't give it away, it will bring you back better than ever, and we'll be there with you every step of the way. Thank you, and God bless you.
You can stand alone with somebody else. Stand with all of us. Yeah. If you can believe something bigger than yourself, you can follow the flag forever. And every light, a little rain must fall. Not gonna rain. Yeah. You can rise and fall, you can rise above it all. We will follow the flag. Yeah, we will follow the flag forever.
Come experience the Giant Panda. The Giant Panda features a giant buffet with over 150 items weekly and 50 items daily to choose from. You're sure to find your favorite dishes. One low price gets you all you can eat, plus soup, salad, soft drink, or milk, and dessert. For a different and unique experience, try these new menu items. Eat in, take out, or delivery. The Giant Panda Chinese Buffet behind Premier Video on 13th Avenue South, Fargo.
Grand Forks is dealt yet another blow as fire virtually destroys a temporary school. That's tonight on News 11 at night.
KVLY News 11 at night with Robin Hubner, Darren Selvig, meteorologist Tom Szymanski, and Dan Hammer Sports. Tonight, one team brings you more fresh news at 10 o'clock than any other. KVLY News 11 at night, the Valley's new choice at 10 o'clock.
The Fargo Holiday Inn is your choice for relaxation and entertainment. Come see their new look while experiencing family fun. Set sail for the shipwreck Baywater Playground while taking in the beautiful scenery of the newly remodeled Caribbean resort-style poolside rooms. Their new pirate ship, the Treasure Hunter, features 5 water slides for children of all ages.
At a great restaurant, gaming in the lounge, plus close to great shopping and entertainment, you'll find that the Fargo Holiday Inn is the perfect place for a weekend getaway or mini vacation anytime.
Shop now and save big at Country Furniture's year-end store-wide clearance sale. Wood gliders, $119. Oak computer desk, $149. Oak entertainment center, $199. Oak table with leaves and 4 chairs, $499. Come on in and see the values for yourself, and with nothing down and no payment until $19.99, there really isn't a better time.
Country Furniture really wants your business.
Meteorologist Tom Szymanski, KVLY News 11 Weather.
Wouldn't that be Friends Are up next? Wouldn't that be Friends
What could I do to top this?
Robert De Niro, War is Show Business. Wag the Dog.
When it's cooking, it's cooking.
Rated R. Starts Friday in select cities.
At JCPenney, you'll flip for the savings during our New Year's sale with lots of great things you really want with incredible end-of-season bargains from 25 to 50% off. Hurry before this sale folds.